Hello and Chag Sameach. I hope you're having a wonderful Chag and a little bit of an insight on this wonderful holiday of Passover. We've all been reading and hearing about in the news different areas and zones that are prone for disaster, flooding, hurricanes. And it's not an uncommon question to be asked by the general public, or at least a thought to flee through people's minds. And that thought would go something to the effect of, if these areas are prone for disaster and there are floods, hurricanes, or what have you that take place, not once, twice, but, quite often, why do people live there? Why don't people just pick up and move somewhere else? And a similar question could have been asked of the Jewish people as they left Egypt, right? They're off, they're going in the desert, out of slavery, yet they seem to turn to Moshe and say, it's not comfortable, it's too hot, it's too cold, the water isn't as pure, it's not as clean, we want to go back to Egypt. And the obvious question is, well, what do you mean go back to Egypt? That wasn't a great place. They were enslaved under horrible conditions for more than 200 years. Wouldn't the opportunity to get away be taken and grabbed with two hands? And the answer to both those questions is that when people are in a comfortable space, when people are in a familiar environment, it's very difficult to uproot and remove people from being in that comfortable zone and space. That's where they become homely, they feel Hamish, they feel themselves, they're familiar, they know every nook and cranny. And to move from that place, or to be removed from that place, is quite a difficult thing to be able to do. And on a similar vein, in our own personal lives and our personalities, there are areas that we retreat to because there are comfort zones. And for some people, that might be a place of happiness, of joy, of positivity. Yet for others, that could be a place of darkness, of sadness, of depression, of worry, of anxiety. And that tends to paint the way that we see things that transpire within our lives. And, take for example, you're expecting to see someone and they turn up a bit late to that meeting. There's two ways to look at that. Maybe, some people might get quite worried and say, oh no, I hope everything's okay. Maybe something's gone wrong. And other people might just get really upset and say, how dare they be late to this meeting? And there are just different ways that we react and, respond to scenarios as they present themselves to us in life, but they're all reflective of the way we are inside ourselves. Now, the good news is that, different to living in particular zones where it's difficult to move from, our inner selves and our inner beliefs, they're not easy to change, but they are changeable. We are able to create and to, bolster together within ourselves a positive and upbeat, a happy and light space, so that when we do have interactions in life and when we do come across different cases and scenarios and situations, we're able to reflect by our inner selves, which is hopefully reflecting a nice, positive, and upbeat situation. So, Chag Sameach for the rest of Yom Tov, and Shabbat Shalom.